my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. I'm back. And let me tell my subs, I want to say thank you for hanging in there with me while I have been gone on vacation. A well-needed vacation. Woo! To get away from all the madness that has became more of a madness since I have been gone. Woo! Wow. It's good to be back. At one point, I said I wasn't going to come back, but a lot of my great subs convinced me to come back, and here we are. So I want to thank you guys again for being patient while I was gone. And let's talk. Let's talk LeBron James. Going into his 22nd season, if I'm not wrong, we're still talking about this guy as the face of the NBA. Wow. Are you kidding me? LeBron James is still the face of the NBA after 21 seasons. How is this possible? The NBA is in a bad position, is in a bad spot right now. The NBA is over. And what am I talking about? Who in a 21st season of any sport will be the face of the NBA? The NBA is in trouble. And I told you before, I said, Bronny and LeBron would take the NBA offseason hostage. And people didn't believe me. And that's what has happened. We're still talking about a guy who entered the league calling himself the king after not playing the best of college players or playing college players at all, playing in a academy school, AAU basketball against guys that 99% of them would never make the NBA. No, let's just say 99% of them wouldn't make a college roster. 99.9% of them wouldn't make the NBA. So who was LeBron playing against in high school to call himself the king? So he comes to the NBA as the king, misses. And I'm just talking about this right now because 21 years later, we're still talking about this guy. And let me go over it. Why are we talking about this guy when I lay out his resume? I want to talk about other stuff, and we are. But when I lay out his resume, why are we talking about this guy? Why? And I'm going to show you that the NBA is in big trouble. That you have to talk about this guy and not people who are actually great basketball players. I might not like the game today, but there's actually, we got to look at it in their era. And that's why it's hard to compare players from other eras. But when I look at the 2020s, LeBron isn't great in the 20s. He's not one of the great players in the 2020s or one of the good players in the 2020s or the 210s. But anyways, comes into the league, misses the playoffs, misses the All-Star game. Next season, with an All-Star teammate that Michael Jordan didn't have until like his 5th or 6th season. I think 6th. And LeBron missed the playoffs with an All-Star teammate. After choking down 19 games out of 31 after the All-Star break. 3rd season. Let's rewind back. The 1st season gets a bronze medal in the off season. And they cried that, hey, man, they won't let him play, man. If you was a minus 144 for your rookie season, shot 41%, do you think they're going to let him in? He sucks. So let's go to the third season. Makes the playoffs after they changed the defensive rules. This guy all of a sudden is scoring all these points, doing dunks and layups. Makes the playoffs. Goes up 3-2, going back home to the mighty Pistons, a first-year player, or first year making the playoffs. I'm just saying, contrast this to Michael Jordan, right? A Pistons team with Ben Wallace, where LeBron chokes down 2 games in a row and loses the series. Remember, he had a 3-2 lead going back home. 3-2. Go look at his percentages, his plus minus. This was this guy's first choke. Or my fault. Not choke, meltdown. Choke is when you were supposed to win. He wasn't supposed to win. This was his first meltdown. 2007. We all know what happens. This guy makes the finals on the backs of his teammates. People like Boobie Gibson, El Gauskas, and other teammates. When you go back and look at it, this guy shot a brick fest the majority of the time against the Pistons. Beat 2 500 teams in the playoffs to be carried into the finals, where he bricked it up, he melted down, and this was his first finals meltdown. We're in 2007. When was this guy the king? When did his career begin that he was this great player? When? 2008. Coming off the finals. Coming off the finals. Faced his first super team. Michael Jordan was doing that his second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh season. Michael Jordan faced a super team. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Michael Jordan faced 3 to 5 Hall of Fame opponents. Huh? So LeBron in his 5th season faces his first super team. What happens? Epic meltdown. 5 turnovers a game. Man shot like 39% from the field. 61% from the line. 31% from the 3. Huh? And he still took this Boston team to a game 7. Could you? Man, that man put up 32, 7-7. Shooting under 40%. You could do that. 5 turnovers a game. You could do that. How did he get to game 7? On the super. Could you imagine Michael Jordan shooting 39%, under 40%? I think he shot 35%. 5 turnovers a game, 61% from the line, and taking the Boston Celtics to a game 7? This will be talked about all the time. Man, that Boston team, man, that Boston Celtics team wasn't no good, man. Bird, Kevin McHale, Parrish, how good was they? If Jordan could shoot like that and take them to a game 7. Mike didn't have nobody on this team. But LeBron took them to a game 7. LeBron must have had a hell of a team, or that Boston Big 3 was no good. And we're going to show you in 2009, LeBron got the number 1 seed over this Boston team. That was a number 3 seed that got smoked by the Magic in the playoffs. And LeBron will get smoked by the Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals. By the Magic. By Dwight Howard, that they kept off the top 75. You should not have beat LeBron. He kept you off that top 75, homie. And because you helped him win a championship, you damn sure won't get on that top 75. That would be more help for LeBron. Even though Dwight Howard has about 10 more statistical titles in his career than LeBron James. Wow. Who's the better all-around player? So 2010, LeBron has the number 1 seed in the East again over the super team Celtics, who were a number 4 seed this time. How were they a super team? (2009, 2010), LeBron has the MVP, back-to-back, best record in the NBA in both seasons. In meltdown fashion, LeBron melts down in both series. In 2009, 2010 against the Magic and the Celtics. And we're going to get to Gilbert Arenas. And Michael Jordan fans are the best podcast. I heard it. Where Gilbert Arenas says, how can you blame a 25-year-old for losing? This guy has been calling himself the king since he came into the league. Do you see anything that makes this guy the king yet? What is it? Not to mention 2006. What's the excuse now? A bronze in the 2006 FIBA? What? Wade was coming off a championship. Finals MVP. LeBron was coming off like, 30 points per game? Bosh. Paul. All these guys. And you got a bronze to a bunch of nobodies. You got beat by a bunch of nobodies. And Gilbert Arenas has the nerve to talk about this guy who was 25 years old, calling himself the king of the NBA, coming out of Academy AAU basketball, playing against nobody. Like I said, only in the 80s and 90s. I mean, only in the 2000s, 2010s, you call yourself the king. 80s and the 90s, this guy would have been drugged all over the floor and embarrassed for calling himself the king coming into the league. Yes, we can blame this guy for melting down in both series. You don't remember? They was calling this guy LeBrick, the meltdown king, everything on ESPN. They was all over him. Not just Skip. Stephen A. Smith back then. Because if you knew you kept this guy out the paint, he was a brick artist. Yes, we don't blame him for losing. Yes, he lost. That's fine. But this guy melted down against the Magic. Game 5, Game 6 against the Celtics. 4, 5, and 6. When did Jordan melt down in defeat for a series? Or for even the two games in the series? Never. We know what happened in 2011. We know what happened. When was this guy the king? So okay, let's give him credit for beating the OKC, the Spurs, even though he didn't make it happen. It was his teammates. 2013. Blown off the floor by a record margin in 2014. 2015. Took a 2-1 lead going back home without Kyrie. Won 2 games without Kyrie. What's the excuse? You shot 39% for that series. 3.9 turnovers, 3.5 whatever. Shot 60-something% from the line. 30-something% from 3. You melted down, homie. Let another role player win Finals MVP for shutting you. Man, that man averaged 35, 10 and 5. You could do that. If you shoot 39% from the field, anybody can do that. And breaking it up from the line. We need not talk about this guy in the rest of his career. We know what happened in 17, 18, 19, 21, 20. Why are we still talking about this guy? A 4-6 loser. Done missed the playoffs like 4 times. But why are we still talking about this guy? 6 losses in the finals were blowouts. Didn't even see a game 7. Some of them didn't even see a game 5 or 6. And then he has the nerve to bring his son into the NBA. Another loser. Another loser. When was his son a winner? When was he a winner, the father, for us to give him this type of leeway and care about him, to even want to see him and his son play? When was he this winner? When was he this one? Somebody tell me. When was he the king of the NBA? This guy's been a loser his entire career. And now we got to talk about his son. His son don't even deserve the clout, the respect, the honor, anything to be talked about. What are we talking? What are we talking about his son? For what? So you don't even have to prove yourself to be honored and talked about as a good basketball player. Where's the NBA at? Where's Adam Silver? So this is what you're telling me. You're going to sell your league based on drama in a soap opera. You're not going to sell it based on this actual play on the court. You're using LeBron to sell your league based off of a soap opera. That's it. There's no accountability for nothing. Adam Silver is the manager of this company. And there's no accountability for nothing? JJ Redick being a racist? This is on record. The thing about the email, that's kind of hearsay. But we've heard him on record calling Chinese people the ink word. That rhymes with that. I can't even say it. I'm not going to say it. And he even apologized. And then he does his stuff to his girlfriend. What are we talking about? And this is the guy that LeBron hangs around with. Wouldn't you separate yourself from this guy? And said, oh, I made a mistake. I didn't know he was like that. At least. Nope. Nothing from the media. Nothing from the NBA. Nothing from LeBron. Really? I'll be surprised if black people support this. Latino people support this. Because the girl was Latino. We heard the story. I don't need to repeat it. All black people and all Latino people should boycott the Lakers if they keep JJ Redick hired as the coach. And they should boycott the NBA. Where's the outrage? Where's the outrage from Stephen A. Smith? He's always talking about racism this, racism that, racism this. Where's the racism about this? Him and LeBron James. And all this equality and all this stuff they talk about. Where's the outrage? ESPN, Black Lives Matter. Where's it at? Nothing? So I'm going to make a separate video about Gilbert Arenas and about the free agency that's been going on. I'm going to make a separate video about that. But look, man, this whole LeBron thing really made me not even want to keep making videos. It's sickening to watch not a 21-year player that's great, a 21-year loser. He's a 21-year loser. He's not a winner. Not on-court play, not championships, not statistical titles, team hopping, super teams. What are we talking about? And why are we talking about him? The NBA and the media, they don't want to move on. They don't want to write a new script. They already knew if LeBron played next year and his son wasn't there would be nothing to talk about. Because the guy isn't getting no better. So they said, well, let us make even a bigger circus and soap opera than what we've already had with LeBron James for 21 seasons. I ask you guys, when has this guy been a winner for a consistent time? of 5 years, 4 years, 3. I'm not talking about running through the East and playing nobody. I'm talking about winning statistical titles, at the same time winning championships, being a great defender. When has this guy been like, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Bill Russell, Magic Johnson? So you guys tell me what you think, man. The NBA is making a mockery out of professional sports. Could you imagine somebody in the NFL did this to get their son in there that wasn't even good? It wouldn't even be possible. And like I said, LeBron has did nothing for us to appreciate him bringing a loser son into the league with no basketball skills. The guy sucks. All we got to do is look at his resume. Tell me what you think.